Well, the day has finally come, Throttle family. As you can tell by this ear-to-ear smirk on my face, we are at DNA Garage, and today we are going to be building my 13B REW for the Bad Apple RX-7 project that we've been documenting on our channel. I probably look like shit because I was up all night. I could not sleep in anticipation of getting to DNA Garage this morning to begin this process. As you guys know, there's always heaps of RX-7's here. Gotta love it. And quite honestly, I love being at the authority for rotary engines in Orange County. This is the place to be. So when I'm here, I'm usually a pretty happy guy. At any rate, let's not waste any time. Let's get right after it. Seems to me the boys are fast at work this morning. I see Louie's already got all of our stuff laid out for today. We've got all the new parts from Mazda, an RX-8 front cover seal, all the bits that make the braps. Here's all of our old parts, engine mounts, all of our teardown parts, a special sign, don't touch, Mr. Android will break your hand if you touch it. Nah, not really. Anyway, love the attention to detail here at DNA Garage. You can't go wrong. These guys have their stuff together and it's appreciated. We're gonna go ahead and get this process started here shortly with the rebuild. I'm gonna go over here and check in with our expert, John. He is finishing up some last minute housing porting for the for our Bridgeport, and basically making our eyebrow cuts. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
How are you today, brother?
Good.
Good. What do you got going on here?
Water jacket mod.
Oh, water jacket mod. Okay. Ooh, hey, look at that. Can't really see it because it won't focus, but so what is that accomplishing, John?
Pulls more heat out of the housing. This side is always hot.
Okay. So as you guys know, rotaries are known to be very hot running engines. John's making some water jacket mods to make it run a little cooler. Much appreciated because we are going to be boosting this thing pretty good. We'll go ahead and try to capture some of this. As you guys have seen in previous videos, John is an expert with rotary engines. He's got over 20 years of experience building and modifying 13Bs. He's worked at Mazda Tricks and worked on many multiple winning race programs. He's the right guy to have on my side. We're gonna wait till he's done with all the porting and little finishing touches on the rotor housings, and then we're gonna get to putting this thing together. The guys spent yesterday actually painting the housings, or not painting the housings, painting the irons. I've gone with a satin silver for the housings. I think it's gonna look great. As you guys saw on my intake manifolds and stuff like that at the shop, back at the hunt quarters, we've gone ahead and done the same finish on all this stuff, so it looks brand new. This is a color that Louis was trying to sell me on. I do like it, but I like the fresh, crisp satin silver better. Maybe leave some comments down below. You guys like the darker finish or the satin silver better? I'm leaning towards the satin silver. At any rate, we're gonna go ahead and put this thing together today. We're gonna go ahead and kick it off as soon as John's done. Here we go. So you guys see these flutes in here? These flutes that are inside the water jacket are actually cut by hand by John. That's what he was doing in the clip I showed you guys earlier. Basically, he goes in with a stone on a grinder and actually cuts each one of those grooves in the water jacket. And what that does is creates like a wave shape on the aluminum, and it creates more surface area, which allows the engine to run cooler. What a neat mod. This is something that is usually only found in race car builds and stuff like that. I'm super lucky to have John helping me with this project, man. He's pulled out all the rotary 13B wizardry he knows from over the years of racing and applied it to my engine. So cool. This is a Baffled Racing Oil Pan, CNC machined by Built to Apex specifically for this project. It has 3 trap doors inside, as you can see down here. There's a trap door in there, a trap door there, and a big trap door there, so that when the oil sloshes around, it slows down the sloshing and make sure that you don't have any oil scavenging or oil pickup problems. This is really going to be a nice part to put on the engine. It looks great, and I'm told it works just as good as it looks, so that's good to know. Looking forward to installing this. It's too bad a flash part like this can't be seen from the top, but it's okay, we know it's there. Alright, so the first step in preparing the rotors for assembly is we've got to put the new Mazda bearings in. We're not using competition bearings, we're actually using an OE Mazda bearing. I went with all OE replacement parts. I think that's the best way to go, and that was what the guys at DNA Garage recommend that I do. So the first step in that is we need to remove these bearings. Now, this bearing is what basically keeps the rotor rotating on the eccentric shaft, and these bearings are a little worn, so they need to be replaced. So the experts here at RRR and DNA Garage are going to go ahead and push these out in the press. It's a normal shop press, and they have it set up for this particular job at hand. So basically they'll use some sort of die, and that will, the pressure from the press will push this one out the bottom, and then we have the new part, which is here. This part will get pressed back into that space. You can see quite a difference between the new bearing versus the old bearing, and obviously that's from the heat cycling and the oil. So we're gonna go ahead and get that done. We'll show you guys the final result. That's it, huh? That's the noise?
That's the noise, yeah. And you know you're on your way.
These things are really in there.
That was particularly loud. It's a good sitting bearing. And you got to make sure that it's clear under here, too, that the bearing's going to come through and not get stuck on these plates.
Okay.
You got to keep the distance correct. You try to catch it as much as you can before it falls below the ground.
Right.
And here is your bearing.
Yeah, there's the old bearing. I'm surprised there's really no heat buildup in this when it comes out, when it slides out.
Yeah.
I expected it to be a little warm.
Yeah,
so these bearings actually have an alignment guide on them.
Yes,
this little square notch actually sits in the rotor housing at this square notch here. So if you don't put these in correctly, you only have one shot at it. This is meant to seat inside the square notch in the rotor.
And that's the notch on,
and that's the new one.
So we're going to mark this. We're going to mark this with a line.
So a little trick of the trade here is he's going to go ahead and score a little line onto the side of the bearing. That way he can watch it as the bearing seats itself in the rotor. Make sure it's going down straight, because a lot of times these will want to do a little rotation dance on their way down. As it goes down, it's being pressed down, it actually starts to sort of turn or rotate, and that can allow you to actually press it in too far, and you don't have that alignment guide lined up, and then you're basically wasting the bearing.
On each side of this, can you see it?
Yep. It's a very faint line. If you can't see it on camera, I think it's visible.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that allows Nick to know if the bearing is being pushed in straight or not. Once
so this here is going to go into that groove there, and this line will help guide it.
Perfect. So to ease in the bearing kind of sliding into its home or its position in the rotor, they're going to put a little bit of oil lube on it, and that will help sort of get it to slide in a little easier.
Does that look good to you? The line meeting the going down there?
Yes, it does. Looks like you might have done this once before. Or a few hundred times.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm so nervous.
So this larger plate will find a resting spot when it's all the way down.
Right.
Okay. So using it as a guide. There it goes.
And you'll hear a final click. Hear
That's
that?
it.
The final click?
Yep.
That was it.
What creates that click?
It's just that the entire bearing is going in, and the last 1/8 or so is a tight spot.
Yeah, it's popping in.
Popping in. Yep.
Okay, well, that's a good indicator.
It's hard to get it right in the middle.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, the one is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Went right in there. So what Nick's doing here is he's preparing to push out the front stationary gear bearing, and then same process as we did on the rotors, he's going to push a new bearing in. On this particular one, it also has a seat area, the square area here, which he's marked with the scribe, so that when he pushes the new bearing in, he can put it right back in the same exact spot the old one was. This is a critical step. Wow. That's remarkable, the amount of noise it makes when it unseats itself. It's really stuck in there. While Nick works his magic putting these bearings into the stationary gears, I'm gonna go over here and see what John and Louie and Ricky are up to, because they're doing something that looks pretty freaking cool. Hey John, what are you doing here, brother?
Getting the rotor ready for setup. Just going to set side seals over on the mill.
Okay, so you're basically just placing these in by hand?
Yeah, corner seal with spring, side seal spring down in the groove, and then I'll take all these over there and start setting them up.
So basically this is getting everything sort of in place where it's going to reside before it can be put back in the engine, and John is just getting it sort of prepared. So he'll go over to a setup station at the other side of the shop and push everything in for permanent use.
Okay. Final destination.
Can we just see one of those? Can you guys even see how, I can't even focus on it, it's so small. So this is what keeps the side seal pushing up
well, it
against the housing, or against
right.
the iron.
Yeah, they get pretty well flattened out.
Once it's in there.
Yeah, because the side seal only sticks up about 10 thou, 15 thou.
You don't even feel these because they go over top.
Yeah,
they go underneath the
side seal will be under that.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, at least nice thing is the sides are numbered.
Oh yeah.
The seal, they've got a seal number here. This is number 4. This is number 2. This is number 6.
Wow, we're stamping it right in. Oh.
Yeah. So when you pull the motor apart, Mazda makes a seal case, so you can take them out and put them in order. So when you put them back together, if they're reusable, putting the new bearing in here, we got all the lines scribed on the side, and it's matching the dicom on here.
Yep.
So we're going to press the bearing.
So what you didn't catch there at the beginning was this is the rear stationary gear. Process is exactly the same as the rotor housing and the front stationary gear. Just a different part. So we're going to watch this one go in. Again, this is a pretty delicate process to make sure they go in square and they don't rotate on their way down, because there is a keyway in this part as well.
Use the bottoming out blade.
There it is. So that's the final bearing in place, and we're pretty close to assembly here, boys. All right, hold it right there. That's about enough engine building for today. But for those of you guys that stuck around to the end, we're gonna go ahead and split this engine build up into a couple parts. They will be posted over the next couple days so you guys can see it from start to finish. Just way too many clips to put it all into one video for today. I don't think you guys wanna see all that in one sitting. So you guys get rewarded with a shot of the RX-8. I hope you guys are as excited about this project as I am. This car is rad, has a freshly rebuilt engine, some sick Falcon RT 615K tires, a racing bucket that's probably gonna not stay in the car, but an awesome project nonetheless. And guess what? We're giving it away in 3 short months. If you guys aren't a VIP member on throtl right now, you should be if you wanna win this car. We're gonna go ahead and select one of you guys in December to take this thing home after we give it the Mickey Spec treatment. Thank you guys so much for watching today. We really appreciate all of our subscribers. Please leave us some comments in the comment section about what you think about this engine buildup and our new project RX-8. And thanks for all the thumbs up. You guys are rad. Throtl family's the best family. Peace out.